Bonjour, Mishko Paganon Quainadishnakas Mungdodem. Hi everybody, it's Sandy Boucher once again, Red Thunderbolt Woman of the Loon Clan. I'm a proud member of Seine River First Nation in Northern Ontario, and I'm here once again with my Sunday Facebook Live, and this one is all about information for you. There's only two things I want to touch on, but the second one is hugely important. The first one, I'm just going to get out of the way. And the first one is information on my upcoming book launch. These guys have requested this book for years. This is the best of 3 years of my blog posts. Priscilla, hi, nice to see you. Facebook has changed how my screen looks when I do Facebook Lives. So now the comments are so much easier to see. Awesome, Priscilla. I'm so glad you could join me today. As I was saying about the book launch, it's actually going to last for 13 days. It starts on June 30th. It's going to end on July 12th. And here's what's going to happen. Every single day of the 13 days, I'm going to do a Facebook Live at 1 o'clock and a Facebook Live at 3 o'clock. On June 30th, my Facebook Lives are just going to be generally about the book, why I wrote it, why I love this book. But on July 1st, I'm going to be sharing some teachings or some of the blog posts from the January section of the book. So the first month of the book. On the second month, readings from February and on and on. And here's the exciting part. As long as you watch the Facebook Live before 5 o'clock, either one of them or both of them, if you comment on the Facebook Live, you're going to be entered into a daily draw. And every single day at 5 o'clock, I'm going to make an announcement and announce who won a free copy of the book for that day. So keep coming back to the group. I'm going to do this all in my Facebook group, my Facebook page. And watch the Facebook Lives, comment on them, and your name will be entered. And hopefully, while I'm giving away 13 copies of my new book, autographed, of course. Hey, Kit, nice to see you here. Thanks for commenting and thanks for coming out. So there's the information about the book launch, and the schedule of everything I just said is actually posted in the photos section of my Facebook page now. So if you missed it, just go there. The next part of this Facebook Live is way more important. And in light of everything that's going on in Canada right now, with the children being found, with the grieving and the confusion on the Indigenous side, massive grieving. We have to really take care of our elders now, as this brings up so much for them. And on the non-Indigenous side, often it's mass confusion because they were not taught this stuff. They are being exposed to a Canadian history that they just did not know. As Indigenous people, we knew this, but it's new for them and it's shocking. So lots of difficult conversations and emotions being had. Because of that, there is a lot of encouragement out there, and I'm definitely one of them that has been encouraging you to take this step, especially for non-Indigenous people. I've said that you need to get your hands on the TRC Final Report, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission Final Report, because these stories, these facts were shared. If you want the piece of Canadian history that you missed, that's where you're going to find it. Oh, so many people signing in here. Sharon and Norm and AT Dawn. Awesome. Thanks for coming out. The TRC report shares the stories that have not been heard, the stories that have not been acknowledged. There are so many of them that I'm going to give you a heads up. The TRC Final Report in its entirety is like 7 different volumes. It starts with honoring the truth, reconciling for the future. That's 535 pages. It goes into what we have learned. The survivors speak is section 3, and that's 259 pages. What we have learned was 199. The history from the start to 1939 is 1,025 pages. Hi, Angie. The history part 2 is 859 pages. The Inuit and Northern experience, 289. Métis experience, 97. Did you know that Section 8 of the TRC report is missing children and unmarked burials? 273 pages of information. The Legacy, 391, and then finally Reconciliation, Section 10, 297 pages. That's a lot of reading. But if you want to know the history of Canada, that is the reading you need to do. And by the way, just for your information's sake, now I'm old school. I still like to print things out and read them. I don't like reading on the screen. I still love highlighting and underlining and writing notes. This is the first section. You can see how big it is. Actually, Kit, you can go to the TRC website, and thank you for bringing that up. When I master this video and post it on my page, I'm going to put all the links in there. If you just Google TRC, all of those things that I just listed, I printed this off the website. You can see all the different sections. Each one of them is a link. Yes, the public has access to these documents. Go download them. They're worth downloading, right? They're worth having. They're worth sharing. It's all right there. It always has been there ever since the reports came out. We got to get better at accessing it. So, not all of you may want to print out all those pages. And by the way, you could send your links to your local UPS store. That's what I did. And get them printed out there if you don't mind the copy. Thank you for breaking down the sections. It is an overwhelming document, but it's a hugely important one. We all share this history. And I honestly think it's been unfair that the Indigenous have carried the burden of this history all on our own for so long. Our elders have carried that burden, knowing the truth and not being heard or listened to. So the other thing I'm going to do, for those of you who can't or don't really want to go download all these documents, although I really, really hope you do, if you have noticed of late, I post on my Facebook page, on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, 4 times a day. You get my blog post first thing in the morning, and then at 2 o'clock, 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m., I've been posting different quotes or inspirational comments. What I'm going to be doing is sharing excerpts from these reports as I read them through. Facts that you definitely need to know, highlighting it for you. So maybe you haven't decided to go print those reports yet, but hopefully by seeing those quotes, you're going to change your mind. And here's an example. This is the introduction. These are the first 2 paragraphs of this summary report. I need you to hear this. And please keep in mind, these are not opinions. This is factual Canadian history. This is not just someone with a slanted version. Please do not dismiss it. Listen to this. This is a reality check for so many. For over a century, the central goals of Canada's Aboriginal policy were to eliminate Aboriginal governments, ignore Aboriginal rights, terminate the treaties, and through a process of assimilation, cause Aboriginal peoples to cease to exist as distinct legal, social, cultural, religious, and racial entities in Canada. The establishment and operation of residential schools were a central element of this policy, which can best be described as cultural genocide. Physical genocide is the mass killing of the members of a targeted group. Biological genocide is the destruction of a group's reproductive capacity. Cultural genocide is the destruction of those structures and practices that allow the group to continue as a group. States that engage in cultural genocide set out to destroy the political and social institutions of the targeted group. Land is seized, and populations are forcibly transferred and their movement is restricted. Languages are banned. Spiritual leaders are prosecuted. Spiritual practices are forbidden, and objects of spiritual value are confiscated and destroyed. And most significantly to the issue at hand, families are disrupted to prevent the transmission of cultural values and identity from one generation to the next. And here's the sentence we all need to understand and accept in its dealings with Aboriginal people. Canada did all of those things. It is time we learn Canadian history, the whole history, not just the allowed portions, the nice Canada is so great history. As I mentioned in my video on Friday, this country was built on the displacement of Indigenous people and on the graves of those children. And we need to know what we're looking at. Yes, Don, it is Canada's Holocaust. But you know what? Germany has bared the burden of their Holocaust. Canada has to move out of denial and into acknowledgement. Online content can be so overwhelming. Absolutely, yes, it can, Rebecca, which is why I love printing it. And you know what? I do want to put this out there. Whether you're Indigenous or non, this is not going to be an easy read. So I want you to practice self-care. I do want you to read the reports. I want you to be educated individuals on the reality of this country, but I want you to take care of yourself in the process. Read a couple pages. If it gets upset, put it down and walk away. If it gets upsetting, I should say. Take care of you. Go for a walk. You know what? Sit under a tree. Go to the water. Cry your tears. Tears are healing. They reduce the weight of the burden. Please don't ever stop yourself from crying. And guess what? You will stop. You will not reduce yourself to a puddle. Even though at times in my life I thought that might happen, you won't. Your body will stop you eventually. But cry as often as you need to. The children deserve our tears. They deserve to be grieved. So again, as I said, when I master this video in a few minutes, I am going to put the links to all that TRC page so you know where to find these documents. I encourage you to go get them and print them out for yourself. I am going to be sharing quotes over the next several weeks from the report as I walk through the reading. I've read portions before, but I think those children deserve for us to read it from start to finish now. We need to finally hear their story. They've been silenced for so long. We need to hear them now. We need to hear our elders now. We need to believe them. So I encourage you to join me on this journey as we all come to accept and pick up the burden that is Canadian history. It's the only way it's going to change. And of course, then I encourage you to use that information wisely, especially when it comes to federal and provincial elections. You are most welcome, Kit, anytime I can help. I am just an email away. I have answered so many questions this week, and I am happy to do that. Oh, Sam, that is so beautiful. Thank you so much. I don't know if the others, if you see the comments, but Sam just shared how his children are with him, listening as well. All of our children deserve us to know the truth, and we need to talk with each other. I've had several moms reach out to me. They don't know how to talk to their children about this. Your children are wise. Answer your children. Cry with them. Share with them your confusion, your fear, your emotions, so they know what they're feeling is absolutely natural. And to let out their tears and even their anger is worth doing. It's healthy and it needs to be done. Okay, so I'm going to let you go. I'm not going to take up your entire Sunday, but I am going to put the links under this video when it posts on my page. So don't worry, you know where to go, and watch for my quotes. And as always, if you have questions, I am simply an email away or a Facebook message away. Take care of yourselves, please, always, but especially in this time. I love you. Take care. Bye-bye.